I think the heaviness that is going on in the world, and that is going on in my internal world also, all have to do or connect back to this idea that I have about mortality. A few weeks ago, seemingly to me, out of nowhere, I just started to become really aware of my mortality. And I would say that this is probably something that's been on my mind for more than the last few weeks. Ever since I made that video, Did I Suffer Enough to Be This Happy, when I cried on this video in front of this camera and I realized that I'm just so grateful and happy to be alive, I've been so emotionally open. And I don't think that it is a coincidence that I'm so emotionally open, because I need to be open in order to serve. Usually when I think people come to terms with their mortality, it's because something happens. I read this wonderful New York Times opinion piece last year. It's called The Moral Peril of Meritocracy. And the author of this article gets into this concept of the second mountain life. The idea being that we're all we get into the world and we're moving on our first mountain. We're just doing what society expects us to do. We're following along the path, whatever we think the path is. And most people, if not everybody, they experience a second mountain in life at some point. They lose somebody they love, a family member or a significant other or a friend, to cancer, to a car accident, to some unforeseeable circumstance. Or the person who gets on that second mountain journey in their own lives is the one who experiences that car crash or is diagnosed with cancer, and it's either terminal or they recover from it, right? Like there's something that gets thrust upon us in life that makes us aware of the path that we're on, the mountain that we're climbing on. And we get this opportunity when our face is shoved right up against those scary concepts of mortality and death and what it means to live an authentic and happy and fulfilling life. And we get the opportunity in these really chaotic, really painful, challenging moments to ask ourselves, are we happy with the lives that we're living? Are we happy about the mountain that we're on? And I feel like I've been through second mountains in my life. Maybe nothing that's just been so acutely intense that one thing is like, oh my gosh, this happened and now I'm on a second mountain. I think my whole life has been sort of just the journey of these painful little mountains that have slowly progressed me onto the path that I want to live, that I feel like I was placed here to live. But a few weeks or months ago, I started to really consciously feel like I was on my second mountain. And I started really living like somebody who has cancer or who knows someone who has this terminal illness or something. Like, I really don't know how to describe it. I mean, I am describing it. That's what it feels like. I guess I hesitate because it feels so intense. And it's weird to describe that so intensely. But I've just, again, seemingly out of the blue, become really aware of the fact that I'm going to die. And I hope that it is in 70 years. I really hope it's not in 5 years. And I really hope it's not tomorrow. I hope it is as far away as possible. But I feel that fire in me, like, oh my God, this is life. I have one shot to do this thing to my knowledge. What am I doing? That second mountain, there's admittedly like some fear in there for me, but that second mountain is just right there, and I am scrambling. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm not trying to panic, and I'm not trying to worry about the concept of my mortality. But I just feel so emotionally open and raw right now, and really deep in my emotional body. Maybe it's just because I'm finally happy enough and safe enough, and my nervous system is calmed down enough that my mind or my psyche is kind of telling me like, okay, there's some stuff here, you're ready for it, let's take you into the next step. I truly don't know why it happened or how it happened, but it happened so abruptly. And this is where the gratitude stems from, when I tell you that I'm so grateful for all the blessings that I have in my life, and I tell my friends how much I love them and all of this stuff. But it doesn't end there, because it's not just about gratitude for me. It is really about this acute awareness of my mortality. And I know that there are things that I need to do, that I want to do, right? Like, I'm a writer. I've talked about this in the past before, but I started writing a lot of poetry when I was in high school. It was extraordinarily cathartic for me, and it really helped me survive a lot of trauma that I experienced and a lot of wounds that I experienced, because it was my emotional release that I had no other outlet to express myself through. And I've known from a very young age, I would say probably after I started writing poetry, it's something that I became very strongly aware of in college, but I felt the pull towards even in high school. I actually got a tarot reading done in high school. I was really not into it, superstitious and all of that, but my friends from high school at the time wanted to go, and the tarot, it wasn't tarot, it was a psychic. I went to a psychic. She didn't do tarot. She said, you're going to write books. And she also told me I was going to get into a bad car accident, which I did. So I'm like, well, at least that box was checked. So the books are there. And I've had other people tell me that they see a book in me. And I know deep down it just lights me on fire that I need to write a book. And that, I feel like I could have many missions on this planet, but I know that I'm a writer. God or the universe or whatever you want to call it gave me a gift at writing. I know I'm a good writer. I know that it's not easy for everybody to just be super vulnerable and do stuff like this, and yet I do it, and it's not really hard for me. Like, I know that this is my gift, and I need to give it to the world. And so on this concept of mortality and finding gratitude and being happy and all that stuff, like, yes, that's so important, and I'm so happy and grateful that I'm grateful, and I'm happy that I'm happy, and I'm all of these other things. But this is kind of what I've been speaking about, I guess, in broken pieces in some of my videos, where I'm like, I think the universe will push you if you're not pushing yourself. So now that I'm at the point where I'm happy and I'm safe and my nervous system is pretty calm and I'm in a decent place with my relationship with my body and my food practices and all these other things, it's like, if I just sit here and I do the same loop over and over again, like I something will happen, right? Like, the universe is going to constantly be pushing you and presenting new lessons to you so that you can get up your mountain, right? It's going to break you down so you can build yourself back up again. It's going to throw hard things at you so that you can develop strength. And like all the things that we ask for, we usually get the opposite, because the universe needs to see you put in the work, because you get stronger by enduring hard things, etc. It's very counterintuitive, but we end up actually getting the opposite of what we want, so that we can become strong enough to get what we want, or so that we can prove that we're worthy of the things that we want, right? So now that I'm good, I'm realizing, like, this is the time. This is when I have to be writing. This is when I have to be putting myself out there. I'm good. The universe helped me get to a place where I could go through really hard stuff and recover and heal. And just because I don't need to be in therapy every week anymore doesn't mean that I'm just going to have this routine life where I just go to my 9 to 5 and I'm just a human being and I'm just living for the weekend and I just hang out with my friends. I need to do more and I want to do more. And this mortality piece has made me realize, honestly, like I will not die until I do what I was meant to do in this world during this lifetime. I need to write my book. I need to serve my community. I need to be out there. I need to be seen, and I need to put myself out there and push myself to be seen and to do the hard work of being vulnerable, of being emotionally open, even if it's hard. I guess the way that it ties back to this heaviness in my heart is the fact that I'm supposed to feel heaviness in my heart because I'm strong enough to feel the heaviness in my heart. And when things happen like abortion bills getting overturned and things happen like people being violent towards one another, if I am the person who learned how to heal from my trauma and I am the person who experienced pain and learned to be vulnerable and be seen and to find a way to create safety while being vulnerable and being seen, these are things that I need to share with the world. They're not things that are allowed to live in my head. The selfless, right thing to do is to serve by putting myself out there. And I'm just realizing now, like, not everybody's necessarily going to have that same mission. Maybe you don't feel extraordinarily called to serve. Maybe you feel like you need to be a kick-ass mom, or you need to be a kick-ass dad, or you want to be working towards something bigger than you somehow. Maybe you want to be really big into volunteering. Maybe there's a company that you've always wanted to start. Maybe you don't want to work for somebody for the rest of your life, so you start that side hustle. Or maybe for you, it's just a matter of thinking that you can't do something, and so you start doing it just to prove to yourself that you can. If you don't feel like you can lose weight and you start going to the gym, or you don't feel like you're somebody who can read 20 books a year, so you start by reading one page, or you start by signing up for one email newsletter. Like, we have one shot at this thing, for all we know. And I don't want to scare you. I don't think you should make choices ever out of fear, but there is a dose of fear that's not toxic but can be really healthy to kickstart forward action. And that's what I have now. I'm like, girl, you gotta go. You're 25 and you're young, and you know, when it gets scary and you get really overwhelmed, it's okay. Like, it's okay to breathe and be like, I can't do it today. I can't life today. I can't be special today. I just literally went to the grocery store. I needed groceries, but I was like, this is my emotional support grocery trip today. Like, I just needed to get I got a new flavor of seltzer, I think, and then I got my coffee creamer, and I tried something new. I was like, I'm gonna get new beans today. Like, I just was like, girl, you need to take a break today because your heart is heavy. So I'm showing up for myself, and I'll give myself that break. But I know that the work is not gonna get done unless I push myself. And I have struggled my whole life with so many things, obviously. But now it's like, what are the next things that I have to get through? The next things that I have to get through, I have to get over my imposter syndrome, right? Like, I don't think I'm the best writer in the world, and I struggle now that I'm writing to figure out, well, what makes my story so unique? Because I'm like, I've read and I've heard that story about someone who experiences trauma and overcomes it over and over again. So, like, how am I different? Truly, how am I different? I know that I am. I just don't know how to explain it. I need to get over my imposter syndrome. I need to continue to work into and lean into this fear of being seen, that being seen is not safe, And I just need to keep putting myself out there. So I think I'm going to go to another rally tomorrow, and I'm going to practice using my voice and standing and calling attention to myself. Like, these are the battles that I need to fight now, and I can win them. But I need to go. I need to move. I'm just realizing I don't think it's a coincidence that I am becoming acutely aware of my mortality right now. I hope to God that I'm healthy. I feel pretty healthy. I hope to God that it's not just like some weird internal signal that's like, hey, you are dying or something. I feel really weird saying that, even because I don't want to like put any of that energy out there. I think I'm okay. But the point is like, I know that I was put here to do a mission, and I just don't see the point in waiting anymore. And I think the change for me that has allowed me the feeling of being able to access the work and do that work is because I feel fear finally. And that's what happens for most people when they're in the second mountain life. They have just been shocked out of their ignorance. They've been shocked out of their blindness. They lose somebody in a car accident and they realize life is fickle. And I was just living like I'm going to live for 100 years and everyone around me is no one knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 minutes. When I hang up this camera, my plan is to cook dinner. And I have no idea what's going to happen after that. And I think it's good to not worry about that. Like, it's good to just be doing our thing. It's not going to help anybody if we're constantly panicked that we don't know what's going to happen. But this lack of thinking about that in many ways can lead us to just live super comfortable, laid back lives. And look, if that's the life that you want to live, like, no shade, no hate, go live that life. But I know that my purpose in this lifetime on this planet is bigger than that. And that's not because I'm being cocky or egotistical. Life would have probably been easier if I could have just been somebody who wants to hang out on a Friday night and go to the bars and drink with my friends and like doesn't have aspirations. But I'm so annoyingly aware of my potential in life and the ways that I am not living up to my potential fully. And that eats away at my soul more than the fear of showing up does. And I think that's the answer to doing things and getting things done. Because if you're constantly willing yourself and you have to drag yourself out of bed and drag yourself into the shower and pull your shoes on, and you have to overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle just to get there, like, that'll exhaust you. And honestly, maybe I should just stop questioning why I've become so aware of my mortality, and I should just be grateful for it and be like, look, we're here, we got to get things done, and I'm gonna move. So I'm writing it into the universe right now on June 25th, 2022, that I was put on this planet to serve other people in a way that maybe I'm not consciously aware of today, but I know deep down in there somewhere. That's why I'm here. And I am going to continue doing whatever I can, as often as I can, to move toward my potential and to satisfy my potential and to honor this life that I was given. And I'm so grateful for my job and my role in this world as a friend, as a sibling, as a daughter, and all of the other things. And I'm so grateful that I have a motorcycle and I'm fit and I'm healthy and all of these things that are just great, but I earn those things by doing the work that I was put here to do. So I'm going to keep writing, and I'm going to keep just showing up and trying to serve my community and put myself out there and practice these next lessons that I know that I need to learn to push me higher up my mountain. I don't really know what this had to do with the abortion thing, to be honest with you. I guess I just have a really heavy heart, and I have a heavy heart partially because I wrote today, and my heart is really open, and it's a good thing that my heart's open because it needs to be to get this kind of work done. So, how do you feel? I feel lighter. Life's short. You deserve to live a full life. You have no idea when you're gonna, or when your husband or your wife or your daughter or your mom is gonna go. And just cherish life while you have it now and do what you can to be happy so that you can look in the mirror and be like, I'm happy. I'm going to end this video with one final quote that somebody I follow on Instagram shared, and it was, the two hardest journeys in life are 1, finding yourself, and then 2, accepting whatever it is that you find. Can you accept what you find? And are you willing to do the work to improve upon it if you're not happy with what you find? I love you. And if I can help you in any way on your journey, let me know. I'll see you next week. Bye.